2 to 3 hours each video talking about me. Even though he said I'm not a big deal and I'm nobody, significant to mention. And he got 10 videos. Newsflash to vocab as well as to this guy. This is my third response, right? I did a response video to Dr. Michael Hesser and vocab or Heiser. And then I did one the other day to vocab and the other racist guy. And then now I'm doing a video because vocab has brought a new person. So I want to be clear to everybody who might be asking, Zion, why do you feel the need to respond? A third time is because this third video is because of a third person that vocab has introduced into the dialogue. All right. So because he introduced somebody else into the dialogue that took the liberty of wanting to weigh in on me and go in on me, we're going to talk about some of that. As you guys know, I don't back down. Never like no
Shalom. So, before we get started, I'm going to talk to you, Zion, one-on-one. I know it's not one-on-one, but first of all, I'm not mad at you. I think you're in a difficult position. If I actually thought you were as stupid, and I wouldn't be doing this. You're in a difficult position that you've gotten yourself into, and that Satan is keeping you in, because you've taken a lot of people's money by pretending to be something that you're not. And you don't want to owe the father of lies anything by lying. And honestly, when I saw you showing your $500 Tanakh, that touched me. That really did. And just to keep it real, it's probably not a Tanakh. It might be a Tanakh. It also, those are usually Sidurim, but that's beside the point. So I appreciate you stopped calling me racist. Not because I minded you calling me racist because I was afraid of it, but because it's not true. And the reason why it fell flat is because it's not true. Okay, all that aside, I know you have kids. I know you have a wife. And no, I didn't threaten your kids and your wife. I would never do that. I know that this is your living. And let me just tell you, I am sure that God will bless you if you leave these lies behind. You will become a leader among men beyond anything you could achieve with the father of lies. I know you don't know Hebrew. You know you don't know Hebrew. That's fine. You have skills. I can tell. But you have to stop with the fronting. Okay? So before we started, and now I'm going to destroy you. So let's see if this is queued up to the right place. Can you guys hear that?
Personally attacking me. So you'll never see me do a response video to people who are personally attacking. Right? I do get that at times some of the information and the way that people treat it can be personal, but so long as it's not a video that is just personal and nothing about the information, then yeah, I usually respond to people. All right, so I'm gonna play some of this video for you guys to watch, and we're gonna weigh in on it live. Vocab brought a new guy on. The guy's name is Amir, and I gotta be careful in responding to Amir. I gotta say.
Hold on, I think this isn't queued up to the right place.
Else into the dialogue. His other friend that he elected to get the Fataluki.
Oh, yeah. Come on. Okay.
And I had time to go out and watch some of the videos. His other friend that he elected to get the Fatalucci guy, or Fatarucci, however you pronounce his name.
Just call me Jacob.
This guy is obsessed with me. He got about 30 videos on his channel. Well, let me not exaggerate and become who he is. He probably has about 7.
I might end up with 30 videos on my and yes, I am obsessed with you. Since it is. I don't know if I can fix it. Shoot. shoot, I don't know if I can fix it. I am using StreamYard, and I'm sorry guys if I can't fix this, but you can listen to his video, and I would listen to his video on his channel, just to be fair. But so
7 to 10 videos on his channel right now, 2 to 3 hours each video.
yeah.
About me, even though he said I'm not a big deal and I'm nobody, significant to mention.
That's not, see, okay, that's what I want you to understand. You misunderstood me. I didn't say you're insignificant. I said I'm insignificant. And that's why I changed the camera so you can see the Walmart here, right? Because you see, I'm not some great teacher or some expert in Hebrew. I don't actually speak Hebrew very well. I speak very elementary Hebrew. Somebody from your channel pointed out that on my LinkedIn, it says I speak elementary Hebrew, which is true. It's elementary. My Hebrew is elementary. That's what I was saying. I wasn't saying you're insignificant. Obviously, people are paying you, and somebody sent me receipts. $300. And that's why I have a broadcast this Thursday where I am going to teach people everything you have to teach them in one quick lesson, and then they won't have to pay you for $300. And in fact, I will go through all the free resources out there, including my channel. Okay? So, which everything's free. I don't charge anybody for anything. I have a job, right? And this channel, yeah, it's grown hugely with your help. Thank you. This is a channel I have as a hobby. Honestly, like I don't have time for this, but you know, I have a beautiful view that way, and I have a beautiful view that way. And sometimes I look out this window and I see that Walmart sign, and I wonder, God, if you needed me to help people with their insurance, right? Why did you need me to stare at that Walmart sign all the time? And I thought to myself, God wants me to remember who I am, that I'm not better than anybody around here, right? I'm just an insurance broker here on the corner of Van Nuys and Roscoe in Panorama City, California, across from the Walmart. Okay? That's who I am. I am nothing. I'm not a rabbi. I'm not a professor. I'm not some teacher. I'm nothing. Nothing. Yet I know more Hebrew than you do. And you presume to charge people. I would never charge people to teach them Hebrew because I don't know enough Hebrew to charge people to teach them Hebrew. And that's why I am spending hours and hours and hours and hours on you. And I will until you are freed from these lies that you are living. And I really believe God wants to free you from the lies you're living and the people whose money you are stealing. So you ask why I have hours and hours and hours? First of all, because this is my off season. And even though I have work, this is my off season. So, in June, I'm taking 3 weeks vacation. I had my Airbnbs booked and everything, And I'm going to Chicago, by the way, people. Paul Vanderklay conference in Chicago. Hope to see as many of you there as possible. And hopefully this will be over in the next 2 weeks. But you know, I might even have to spend my vacation doing this. And but I'm willing to do this to help the people you are defrauding, because this is fraud and this is a Chilul Hashem. You are taking the Torah and you are using it as an object of kardom lachporba. You're using it like a shovel to dig with. And I'm going to help you stop doing that. And that's why I'm going so hard at you. Not because you're insignificant, because I'm insignificant. There are lots of people listening to you, unfortunately. And yeah, I mean, my channel's grown a lot, but this is a hobby channel. I'm not making money here. So that's as far as why I'm obsessed with you. Okay? Now, second part.
Watch this, y'all. We're going to keep it simple for the stupid people, because he disagreed that Bereshit means in the beginning of. So watch this.
Now, when I saw Vocab's video, I had to tell him, sorry, Vocab, but you're coming from a Protestant point of view, and you don't know what the rabbis have to teach. And this is part of the problem that Zion has. And I made this just for Zion. And I canceled my whole response to the other video where I was going to destroy you, because honestly, after what happened in Buffalo, it was just I just didn't think it was appropriate. What we know as actual monotheists, unlike the Christians, is that there is only one creator. There is only one creator. That everything was in fact created by God. And what is the difference between lies and good? Lies have a spark of truth in them. They have one leg to stand on, like sheker. The top three letters are sheker, whereas emet stands. And those three letters, sheker, shin, kuf, resh, are three of the last letters in the alphabet. Whereas aleph is the first letter of the alphabet, taf is the last letter of the alphabet, and mem is in the middle. Right? Because what is true is eternal. And this is what Christians don't understand, is that the truth of Torah is such that when you take it and you twist it even a little bit, because it is true, it becomes false. And that's what I told Vocab about what you are trying to teach. Because obviously, I recognize all the things that you are trying to teach. And Vocab and his friend Amir being Protestants, have their view, which I disagree with, and I argue with vocab. You can see on my channel, he's going to have it on his channel. But we understand what we're talking about. And unfortunately, vocab and his friend didn't understand what you were trying to say, but I recognized it. And I recognized that you didn't understand what you were trying to say, which is the problem. Because you're trying to understand the Torah, but you see it through this lens that is handicapping you. And first and foremost is your lens of having been taught as a Christian what the Old Testament means, and being in that polluted environment. And then when you come back to the Torah, you have all these misunderstandings about what the Torah means. But we're going to correct that. We're going to correct that. And I told vocab, when you go against the rabbis, I'm going to have to correct you. So when you came up with this response, I DM'd vocab, told you so. Because you can't go against the rabbis. Because the rabbis know what they're talking about. And so we should take a look at the rabbis where you got what you were talking about. This is Chabad.org, Genesis 1, chapter 1. And if you click, it says Rashi's commentary. If you click show, it will show you Rashi's commentary. And this is what we teach little children in Judaism. So this is one of the first things that a 5-year-old will learn if he is receiving a serious Jewish education. And Rashi right here explains Bereshit is beginning of, and he gives all these verses that prove his point. Because that's what rabbis do. So, of course, I recognized what you were saying and where it was coming from. And I'm sorry, vocab, but when you go against the rabbis, what's going to happen is going to happen. Okay. Next point.
I know what to do. I am not a prophet. I can't tie the shoes of the prophets. But I'm going to tell y'all something. God ain't never sent Isaiah to go ask Jeremiah to come help him.
This is your mistake. This is your mistake. This is why you embarrassed yourself on Friday. This is why you're going to continue embarrassing yourself. Because this isn't how it works. Being an autodidact, that's not a bad word. That's actually a compliment. Being an autodidact, teaching yourself when you have no other option, is a good thing. There's a problem with that. The problem is the Mesorah. We call it the Masoretic text. Why? Because it is the sages of the Mesorah who have taught us from generation to generation. And that's why I know that I am Israel and you're not, because you don't have the Mesorah. You don't have the tradition. And that's why you made this mistake. 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 10, verse 9, sorry. As they were crossing, Elijah said to Elisha, "Tell me, what can I do for you before I am taken from you?" Elisha answered, "Let a double portion of your spirit pass on to me." "You have asked a difficult thing," he said. "If you see me as I am being taken from you, this will be granted to you. If not, it will not." And this double portion is actually a very interesting thing. It says, "Veyehi pi shnayim, na pi shnayim." Why na pi shnayim? And the Arizal teaches that is the first letter of na is nun, the first letter of pi is pei, and the first letter of shnayim is shin, nefesh. Because the Mesorah is incredibly important. And that is why Elijah and Elisha were together, and why there has to be a chain of rabbis. So your whole idea of Ezekiel, what did you say? Ezekiel didn't...
Something. Know what to do. I am not a prophet. I can't tie the shoes of the prophets. But I'm going to tell y'all something. God ain't never sent Isaiah to go ask Jeremiah to come help him. God ain't never asked Ezekiel to ask Malachi to go help him. Because the people who are truly called by the Almighty, they possess the power to carry out the job without the aid of others. Talk to me.
False. Obviously false. This is your mistake. This is your mistake. Sorry, I'm covering up his face. I don't mean to do that, but honestly, go watch his videos. Go watch his videos. I'm not here to steal his thunder. Go watch his videos. And the mistakes that you make, why you humiliated yourself on Friday, and I'm going to have to spend hours tomorrow showing exactly how you humiliated yourself. And honestly, I don't want to. Just delete your channel, or you have my cell phone number. Give me a call. We'll talk. We'll figure out a way of getting the money back to all the people you stole it from. And I'll help you. I will help you with your Hebrew. But this going alone thing isn't how we do it. It's not how it works. And I noticed a different place. I don't have it queued up. It says, Beni Bechori Israel. My firstborn son is Israel. Firstborn son. See, this is the Christianity seeping through. That's your misunderstanding here. Because the Christians have this idea that before Jesus, God only cared about Israel. And that's not what the Torah teaches, obviously. And that's why you're making the mistake you're making of demanding to be part of Israel, even though you know you're not. But that doesn't mean God doesn't love you. That's never meant that God doesn't love you. And that's why Christians have suddenly started understanding what they now call Paul within Judaism, and now they've started looking in the actual Torah and understanding that their bad understandings of the Torah were wrong, because that chain is important. The Mesorah is important. that remnant, that zecher is important. And Israel is the firstborn son of God, but we are actually monotheists. There's only one God. So when Baal of Tarsus, as I like to call him, says that the Gentiles were grafted in, my first question is, what tree did they belong to? Where is this other tree? Who created this other tree? When he says that the Gentiles were adopted into Israel, who was their father before? In Romans 7, when he talks about free to marry another, who is this other? And you have the polytheism of Christianity baked into your beliefs, and that's how you ended up in this black Hebrew Israelite. And honestly, it's hard for me to call this group black or Hebrew or Israelite. And I had an idea. You're not brown Hebrew Israelites, you are clown Hebrew Israelites. And that I feel comfortable in saying. Clown Hebrew Israelites? Yeah, because Israel stands on the shoulders of giants, and you stand on the shoulder of clowns.
To me. You gotta be kidding me.
It, you can't do it alone. That's not how it works. That's not that. I certainly try for that not to be how I work. You need a community of people around you. Be the tail of lions, not the head of foxes. And that's what you are right now, is the head of foxes. Shualim. And that's not where you want to be. Now, then we get into where Vocab and his guest completely misunderstood you. And then, in supposedly correcting them, you made so many mistakes. I'm sorry, I can't do this every night. I have another live stream tomorrow going through all your mistakes from Friday. And I was on yesterday, and that was my weekend. And I have a job. So I can't go through all your mistakes. First of all, the Hebraica Biblia Stuttgartensia thing. It's not the teacher's edition of the Bible, of the Hebrew Bible. You want the teacher's edition of the Hebrew Bible? It's called Mikraot Gedolot. And the Mikraot Gedolot is something I'm afraid you're not going to be able to read. That's the teacher's edition. And that's actually the edition that is called the Rabbinic Bible. You can go look it up. That I spoke to Vocab about. That the teachers, that the interpreters of the King James Bible used in order to understand the Bible. It's the Mikraot Gedolot. It's not the BHS or HBS. And your misunderstanding of the HBS and then your use of the interlinear there. There's a reason I don't have an HBS. BHS, sorry. It's what Christians use for a whole mess of reasons. My friend Crisp Cow is in the comments. No, the argument isn't just about translations, although it is about translations. It's about the fact that Mr. Zion Lexx here doesn't know Hebrew, and he's charging people to teach them Hebrew in a very toxic environment of a hate group, a group that unfortunately, I'm going to have to say it, has become enslaved to sin and Satan. And freedom is available. But freedom isn't having no master. That's bli'ol. That's having no yoke. That is where ish belial comes from. And Christians should recognize that name, Belial. Cherut, true freedom, is to be a servant of God. Ani avdecha ben amatecha pitachta l'mosarai. I am your slave, the son of your female slave. And if you are not God's servant, if he is not your Adon, your master, if you do not belong to him completely as a slave, which the clown Hebrew Israelites will tell us, like the Jews in John, we've never been slaves to any man. And that's how you know that the Gospel of John is not talking about Jews. Because any Jew who says, I have never been a slave, who doesn't realize Ani Avdacha, Ani Avda the Kudshabrichu, that I am a slave to God, has no idea about Judaism and doesn't have true freedom. Because Cherut is al haluchot, because it is etched into the stone. Because our freedom is the fact that we belong to God. So this whole thing you were trying to explain, which Vocab obviously didn't understand, and neither did his guest. And your mistake becomes obviously clear when you go to your explanation, which unfortunately I don't have my I'm not set up for this. I'm sorry. I'm not set up for this. The timestamp is right there around 123 of his thing. He starts explaining
about the one who is beyond all description. There is no language with which we can put
that beyond all description, and then you make the most rookie mistake in the world
or come to a cognitive description
when you don't understand
This is the tetragrammaton
what you're
which is
talking
the
about.
highest name and also the highest attribute of the deity. The highest name and highest attribute of the actual deity is what is pronounced by some people as Yahweh, Yahuwah, Yehovah, or I've even heard some people say Yahweh. But we're all on the same page when we simply say the tetragrammaton, the four-letter name. Tetra meaning four. All right? So the concept is this. There would be no concept of Elohim if there was no creation. Throughout the entire first chapter of the book of Genesis, the only and exclusive name used to describe all things created is this term or attribute or title, Elohim. Elohim represents the creator as a moral judge of the universe, of the world, and of man. Why did the creator create the universe and man under the guise of this title? He is showing us, through the use of this title, that the world is governed by morals and ethics. Everything in the universe is bound by divine law.
You almost have it right.
The concept behind the term Elohim, which is also applied
Almost
to
have it right.
in the land of Israel, who also execute and administer justice and divine law. The judges throughout the land of Israel are called Elohim.
Almost.
That's in the book of Exodus, chapter 21.
Almost
the
right.
judges in the land of Israel are actually called Elohim, and these are men. These are not gods per se. So the concept behind that is very, very simple. The ineffable one, known in Hebrew thought as Yahweh, Yehovah, Yahuwah, Yahweh, or the Tetragrammaton, this is the concept of the deity at its highest peak or annex, where it is beyond all descriptions. It is he that created Elohim, and through Elohim.
And this is where you prove, vocab right, that you are in fact a polytheist. Because if it was as you said, then the Torah could have easily said, Bereshit Havaya bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, because et could also be the preposition with. But that's not what it says. You are making a huge mistake here. The ineffable is beyond all names. That's why his name is ineffable. All names. And the way you know that is you keep on looking and you'll see the Shem Havaya is used in the rest of the Torah. So why, if that's what it was teaching, why doesn't it just say Bereshit Havaya bara Elokim? And you destroyed the whole thing. Okay. I'm trying not to go too long, not too in depth, because a lot of the people who are watching this don't understand all these intricacies, and I will spend hours and hours and hours on this. If that's what you want, if that's what you need, I will spend hours and hours and hours educating you. But what you need to realize from the very beginning is sheker is sometimes and emet is always. And when you take emet and you change it, you will inevitably end up not being able to understand what's going on. You will inevitably turn emet into sheker. And yes, it is possible to exist with sparks of holiness animating you. That's how all things exist, because it is impossible to exist without a spark of holiness animating you. But as long as it is mired in the klipot, in the husks, then it's hidden. And our job is birur, is to make it clear, is borer, to take the holy out of the sheker, alma de shikra, that which is not. And the way you explained it with Shem Havaya creating Shem Elohim, as if the Shem Havaya is in fact the ineffable, that's the demiurge understanding, that's the Gnostic understanding, that's heretical. And that's where, in essence, the Trinity comes from. And that's why I had to explain to Vocab, you don't understand what he's saying, and you don't even understand. I'm sorry, Vocab, I love you, but you're very Protestant, and the Protestants, unfortunately, don't even know Christianity. They don't believe in studying the traditions and everything around it, and unfortunately, that makes for people who only know that which they can read in their Bible, and which makes people ask them, then where'd you get the Trinity from? And since they haven't studied church history, and they haven't studied theology, and they haven't studied the one and the many and Neoplatonism and all the things that are necessary to have a deeper understanding of God, that's why he couldn't answer you with a Christian answer, and he couldn't even understand your misunderstanding of what true Judaism, what the Torah teaches. And I'll just say it again. If you want to walk in the way of Torah, you can, but you have to give up. You have to give up the sheker. You have to give up the lies. You have to give up that money. Okay, the reason I was able to do this quickly today is because I was able to get through it. I'm going to do a little break, and then I am going to come back, and I will do question and answer and things like that. Tomorrow I am going to do the full thing of completely humiliating you from Friday. Okay, so Crispicow asks, so the argument is about translations? No, we haven't gotten there. The argument is he doesn't know Hebrew, and he's going around charging people $300 to teach them a language he doesn't know. But that's not where it started, because I've only known about Lyin Zion Lexx. And until you clear up the fact that you did in fact lie about where you got oh, I gotta show this. I do have to show this. Where is that? That says Hebrew Israelite, or it tries to in Hebrew. And he had that on the front of his thing, and he didn't even realize in 2 words he had at least 4 mistakes. I could count 8. We'll split the difference. We'll call it 6 mistakes. 3 mistakes in 2 words per word. And this is why I say 3 for 1. 3 for 1. You're the trinity of dumb, Zion. You're dumb, dumber, and dumbest all in one person. You are the god of dumb. 2 words, 6 mistakes. And I'm being kind. And so, I mean, when you say maybe his Bible had different handwriting, you mean it's a different manuscript? No, he's so. The reason I found out about Zion Lexx is Vocab said he seems to be actually somebody who knows more than anybody else in the clown Hebrew Israelites. And so the clown Hebrew Israelites generally, honestly, I don't pick individual clown Hebrew Israelites to respond to, because it's such obvious bullshit. There's no point to it. But I had Vocab on to tell us more about these clowns. And the clown Hebrew Israelites generally don't know any Hebrew whatsoever. And Vocab said, this guy, he seems to know some stuff. Okay, so I went and I looked up, and he doesn't even know Hebrew. And he's charging $300. Where was that? $300 to teach a language he doesn't know. Which is why I had to make my channel all about Lyin Zion Lexx. And what he lied about is where he got this Ibrahim. He said he got it from Exodus 3:18, I think it was. And obviously it's not. And his explanation showed me he doesn't understand. He doesn't even know the most basic parts of Hebrew. I know elementary Hebrew. He knows less than elementary Hebrew. Kindergarten Hebrew, he doesn't know. Preschool Hebrew, maybe. So are Black Israelites, or whatever they're called, related to Abraham? Well, I mean, everybody's related to Abraham if they become a Hebrew, which is another thing. Oh, that's another thing. I should have So I have to clarify both Vocab and Zion. So Vocab in his video talking with Amir misunderstood what I said. It wasn't the Hebrew that Zion had wrong regarding Hebrew and Israelites and Egypt. It was just the whole idea. And obviously he had read where a rabbi was explaining why it is necessary for an Israelite, for a Jew to still be a Hebrew, because the word Hebrew means to cross over, to convert. And of course, with his racist ideas, Zion couldn't explain that well, and he had to make all sorts of mistakes because he was taking the truth and turning it into a lie. So a Hebrew in terms of being a convert, an ivri, somebody who is over, right? Ayin bet resh means to cross over. A convert is always a child of Abraham. And that's why Ishmael and Edom are still children of Abraham. And why we can say that all 70 of the nations are, in fact, you'll notice Ishmael and Edom are not one of the table of 70 nations. In fact, they are the two arms, the two groups of the 70 nations. And both Ishmael and Edom have to, in fact, convert. And I'm guessing that's where on Friday, Lexx Zion had gotten what he meant to come over and do, and then it didn't work because it was about Edom, and then he tried to do it about the Kuzari, but he doesn't know enough. And whenever you take emet and you change it, you turn it into sheker. Okay. I have spent an hour on this. I didn't mean to spend. I am going to be around for another. Well, as long as people have questions, I will be here. Well, not too late, but if people still have questions, they want to know. But yeah, I had to respond, and I'm going to keep on responding, Zion. I am going to keep on responding until you give up your lies and you return the money you owe to all the people you owe money to. Because there is no reason why somebody who doesn't even know how to spell Ivrim Israelim, who doesn't even know how to spell Hebrew Israelite, should be charging anybody, even the clown Hebrew Israelites, to teach them a language he doesn't know. And there were so many places I could be correcting you on. I don't even know where to start. It would be a full-time job with all the mistakes you make. And the first and foremost mistake you made is relying on yourself. Because all of the prophets, every single one of them had a teacher. Because prophets anoint prophets. And even if the Bible doesn't mention who anointed each prophet, even though it does, at least in the case of Elisha and Elijah. And did I not explain na pishnaim, right? Nefesh, and that's what Elisha means when he says, "If you see me as I die, then you will get it." But of course, Elijah didn't die. But that is the nefesh that we leave from generation to generation. That chain that is necessary that you do not have. And that's why I am Israel and you are not. And that doesn't mean God doesn't love you, because if God didn't love you, God wouldn't create you. And that's why it says in the Pirkei Avot, Ohev et habriot, to love the creations, those things which their only redeeming quality is that God created them. If people have questions, please put them up. Otherwise, I did not mean. I mean, this is taking up so much of my time, but it's worth it. It's worth it. First of all, my channel has grown. I've never had growth this much. So thank you, Zion. And if people have questions, I'm here. It's all free. On tomorrow, I am going to be explaining how not all. I mean, I couldn't do all of the mistakes that Zion made on Friday, but it was kind of funny. And go look at the clip. It was kind of funny. I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to exactly make the sound work with StreamYard. I'm not equipped for this. I am not equipped for this, unfortunately. But what are we gonna do? Somebody, and yeah, God seems to have picked me to be the tuchus that shits all over you. And I want you to see that Walmart sign. Shalom. Just curious, are you an Old Testament believer? I am not part of the whole clown Hebrew Israelite thing. I am a Jew. I'm a normal Jew. I do have some strange beliefs, which you can see on my channel, including some beliefs that are not typical in Judaism, although there have been Orthodox rabbis throughout the years who have had similar beliefs about Jesus. And certain other beliefs I have, which, I mean, I'll go into them if you want, but they're minute little things that honestly you have to have a background in Judaism to really understand what I'm saying. But look, I'll go into as much as you want, but most people would say that pretty much all of my beliefs are normal Jewish beliefs. Meant to say only Old Testament. Well, I wouldn't call it the Old Testament. I believe that Jesus actually taught normal Judaism. So my belief is that Jesus taught Judaism and he was betrayed by Paul and Pauline Christianity. That's my belief. Again, I've had all kinds of conversations with people on that. And I will go into it more if you like. But when I say the Bible, I mean the Tanakh, the 24 books of the Hebrew Bible. And if you need me to explain why it's 24 and not 30, how many do 39? Yeah, however many Christians have, we can go into that as well. But yeah, scriptures. Yeah, yes. No need to apologize. But yeah, I am a Tanakh I believe that the Bible. Okay, I actually have to go a little bit beyond that because Christians misunderstand, and they think that Jews have placed an equal role in all of the books of the Bible. Obviously, the 24 books of the Tanakh are all important, but um, really, the Jewish scriptures are only the 5 books of Moses. The 5 books of Moses are the Torah, are the essence of Torah, and the rest is commentary, including the other parts. 66. Well, I mean, then you have to take the 27 off for the New Testament or the Greek Bible, and then you end up with 39. And the way the 39 becomes 24 is we have the Treasar, which is the 12 minor prophets. So that removes another 11. And we only have Kings, right? Melachim, not Kings 1 and 2. And we have Chronicles, not Chronicles 1 and 2. And Ezra and Nehemiah are one book. And that brings the number down to 24. So in Judaism, there are 24 books of the Bible, of the Tanakh, of which the Nevi'im and Ketuvim, Nach, are simply explanations and history and things like that of the Torah itself, which is the entirety of everything was taught at Zion. If people have questions or anything like that, please feel free to ask. So no, I am not in Messianic Judaism. Within Judaism, I would be referred to as off the derech or an unobservant Orthodox Jew. That's what I am. I am a non-observant Orthodox Jew. Unitarianism on vocabs show. So a lot of people a lot of my friends and the people who are involved in this corner of the internet and listen to my channel and stuff. So there's a lot of Unitarians, including my friend Sam, and he's been on my channel a few times. He's a Unitarian. So like I told Vocab, I do attempt to help move Christians towards the truth as best I can, and my belief is generally that the way you do that often is by finding people who are a little bit closer and helping people move step by step. So um, while I obviously disagree with Sam and Unitarian Christians, so Sam actually believes in the entirety of the Christian Bible. So and he believes all of it, right? And as a Unitarian, he will destroy Trinitarians in ways I can't and I wouldn't, because um, like that's how we got into the discussion that that Vocab and I had. Is so he believes in the things that, for example, are in the Gospel of John, and I believe the Gospel of John was at the very least heavily edited by somebody who uh, obviously knew nothing about Judaism. And so me trying to convince Vocab that the Trinity is wrong would not work as well as Sam explaining to him why the Trinity is wrong. And that's why I always try as much as I can to help move people away from their mistakes little by little. I hope that's clear. And so, yeah, I mean, I disagree with Sam on a lot of things. I also disagree with the Vocab on a lot of things. But, there are things that are within the, that are arguable. And then there are things like, if you have no idea what you're talking about, like Zion, and I'm serious about that. He doesn't know Hebrew. He does not know Hebrew. He does not know elementary Hebrew, and he knows he doesn't know elementary Hebrew. He just knows Hebrew better than everybody around him, which, and I appreciate the fact that he's spent a lot of time trying to learn, but he's also spent a lot of time trying to learn without a teacher. So. I hope you like them. Feedback is always welcome. Questions, comments, criticisms, refutations. What I say, and I do believe this, is we always have to be repenting, right? We always have to realize that we are imperfect, and whatever I believe, there must be some problems with it, because if there weren't any problems with it, then there would be no point to me to the Messiah not having come yet, right? We would be in that time that is described in Jeremiah, where it says, "Man shall no longer need to teach man," right? And the new covenant would be here, and obviously that hasn't happened yet. So we do need to teach each other, and that's why I am constantly trying to learn, and that's why I have these dialogues with people. From all the debates I've seen, oneness makes the most sense. Look, yeah, the Trinity is a huge mistake. And the best argument for the Trinity, Pastor Tanner came on my channel and he gave the best argument for the Trinity, which is the best argument I've ever heard, which is the problem of the one and the many. And when you understand Jewish theology well, and this was part of what I had to explain to Vocab about what Zion misunderstood, right? Is so if you've listened to Father Stephen DeYoung, he's on the Lord of Spirits podcast. He knows his stuff. I disagree with him. I have commentary videos where I criticize a lot of things about him, but he knows his stuff, right? And when he says that Judaism believes in a multi-personal God, that people will be shocked by that. And honestly, the first time I heard it, I was shocked by it too. And then I understood, so he's using the Christian term person, which is a weird theological term that makes no sense. And in that sense, yes, Judaism believes in an infinite number of persons, not 10 like some people would like to say, or 3 or 2 or any other finite number, but we believe in a multi-personal God. Yes, but that doesn't mean we believe in a 3-person God. And you have to understand what Trinitarians mean by person, which the vast majority of them don't. And so when we are talking about oneness, we are not talking about monads. So that's part of the problem here is Trinitarians, in order to maintain the lie of the Trinity, they have to constantly come up with new terms and new ways of saying things differently. Do you think Jesus raised from the dead? No. Nope, I do not. The resurrection of the dead has not happened. First of all, I am not sure that Jesus was only one person. I think it is quite possible that the stories of Jesus are actually a gestalt of several people, and that would actually go along with things that are said regarding Mashiach ben Yosef, because you will notice in whatever they call in Hine Abdi, whatever the Christians, Isaiah 54 or 52 or 53, the forbidden chapter, right? It says bemotav, in his deaths, plural deaths, and various people have explained that in fact Mashiach ben Yosef is going to die many deaths. But as far as the resurrection, no, I don't believe that. And I think, as I've told PVK many times, the ascension negates the resurrection. Like when we talk about resurrection, we talk about a physical resurrection. And then if you listened to PVK's Easter sermon, he was explaining why Jesus can't be physical, which was basically him, like, he didn't see it that way, but I saw it that way. Understanding why the incarnation is not even something that is desirable. I do recommend his Easter sermon. It's on the Livingstone's channel, and I would say just watch it, constantly asking yourself, then why was there an incarnation? And that's when you will see that there actually was not an incarnation, because there could not be, not only could there not be an incarnation, but if, God forbid, such a thing were to happen, it would not be a good thing. And that's what Paul is explaining there without realizing. But I love Paul. Okay, I am going to put a hard cutoff at 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, I will be leaving because I have been spending a lot of time on Zion Lexx. I haven't caught up with any of my podcasts. By the way, Chris, if you aren't listening to my podcast, I put out a very good one, I think, today. Post Platonic on Spotify. Anyone who is interested. You have to have a subscription to listen to the music, but you don't have to have a subscription to listen to it. So actually, the podcast isn't. I try not to talk too much in the podcast. It's music, and it's an attempt to be what I call post platonic. So this little corner of the internet, which uh, I'm if you're coming from vocab stuff, you wouldn't know what this little corner of the internet is. Chris is part of this little corner of the internet. Um, so this little corner of the internet is a group of, actually a pretty large group of people who discuss philosophy and theology and science and meaning and a lot of stuff, right? So, and there's a lot of channels and a lot of podcasts involved. Um, so I'm just one of the many channels around here. Um, and I'm one of the smaller ones, actually. Um, and so it's my podcast is an attempt to try to create something that's more unifying of this little corner of the internet. So it's called Post Platonic. It's on Spotify. So tell me about you, the remnant. Who are you? What do you believe? Yeah, Nehemiah Gordon is a fraud, and he is. And I don't like lying frauds. And I was going around calling him a lying fraud, and somebody said, "Well," and I cut him to pieces. I have to admit, um, I kind of enjoy it, and that's because I'm not a very good person. Um, Schadenfreude is a sin, and I am one of the worst of sinners. And God forgive me, but I enjoy it. And that's why I enjoy taking, like, when I can theologically excuse myself for going after someone, um, which I've been able to do with Zion. It's fun. It is fun. It is fun. So tell me about you. And there's 4 people watching. There's only 2 people talking. My channel's certainly grown a lot from this attention by how are BHIs like flat earthers? I would say I fall under Messianic Judaism, but not Trinitarian. I have a oneness position regarding Yeshua. But are you Jewish or Gentile? And what's your position as far as keeping the Torah? I am an Israelite tribe of Dan. How would you even know that? And I am a Jew ethnically. I don't know what that means. Religiously, I am Torah obedient. I am not an Orthodox follower of Judaism. You are not in control of the DNA running through my veins. That's true. I'm not in control of anything, really. I mean, I control my office. That's about it, and my channel. And God is the one who is, in fact, going to have to decide. Now, Judaism is matrilineal. I can show that clearly from Ezra. And so, if you were not born to a Jewish mother and you are not part of the Jewish community, then you are not part of the Jewish community. You are not part of Israel. And that's one of the things I kind of tried to say today. We have no idea as far as tribes, except for the Levites who have a tradition. And obviously, all that is going to be clarified by Elijah when he comes. And honestly, it doesn't really matter too much. And I mean, Orthodox follower of Judaism, Judaism is a community. It is a community established by God, and it is a religion that that God has ordained. Why don't you wear the little Jewish hat? There's a lot of things I don't do anymore, including keep my head covered. There are certainly reasons for that. I used to be a lot more observant. I am not observant very much anymore. and I haven't been for many years. And there are a lot of personal reasons for that. But um, that's one of the last things that someone should take up in terms of observance. It's only a minor it's only a minor tradition, and Michael Brown likes to criticize messianics for that, and he's kind of right about that. The keeping your head covered thing is very minor within Judaism, and in fact, in many instances, well, in a few instances, an Orthodox Jew would not, an observant, completely observant Orthodox Jew would not wear yarmulke or a kippah, because it is. No, I came into this as a Gentile. My stance on Torah, it all applies, at least the laws that can be followed. This causes intense pain whenever I bring it up, but I have to, because this has been the teaching of Judaism for thousands of years. An attempt of a Gentile to keep the Sabbath, of which the Torah says clearly, Ot hi le'olam, beini u'beinechem, it is a sign between you and me forever. Judaism has taught for thousands of years, including during the time of Jesus. In fact, during the time of Jesus, people would go around murdering, which obviously is not correct, murdering Gentiles who kept the Sabbath, the Sicarii. But keeping the Sabbath as a Jew does, as a Gentile, is incredibly spiritually damaging from everything I know. And I highly recommend you make sure you do not do that. And by that, I mean, a Jew on the Sabbath should take the stairs and not the elevator, because we do not operate electrical appliances. Go ahead and rest on the Sabbath. Go ahead, and declare it a day of rest, but actually rest. Do not try to be a Jew, because attempting to usurp the priesthood of Israel is a huge mistake. It is a huge mistake, and God have mercy. It is incredibly spiritually damaging from everything I know. And I'm saying this out of love, not out of any sort of, because you want to do because a commandment of God is only a commandment if God commanded it. And you do not get to choose what you want to keep. Andrew Davies. They call us a Black Irish because of our darker skin. The Black Irish are thousands of years old, never to be confused with Africans who from Africa are now trying to claim Black Irish history theirs. So on Sunday, we went through this British Israelite silliness. It's all bullshit. And I'm sorry you got caught up in it, but it's all bullshit. And it's complete bullshit. And Judaism, again, is not about your skin or your phenotype or how you look. If you have a tradition that you are part of the remnant of Israel from your parents, or you join the remnant of Israel, those are the only ways of being part of Israel. And the only way that you can, in fact, if you do not have the indications that you are part of the Zecher, the remnant of Israel, then it is a very big mistake, and it is spiritually damaging to you to try to and honestly, Judaism teaches that it is mo'il bekochim. It is stealing and misusing that which has been sanctified to take for yourself the signs of being part of Israel. Don't do it. It's a huge mistake, and I'm saying it for your good, because it doesn't matter to me. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't change things for me. I'm saying it because I'm telling you, you are going to harm yourself that way. Good book on the topic: for Forgotten Origins of the Lost Jewish History of Early Christianity. Honestly, I have so many books I am trying to read, and I'm not reading any of them because I'm doing all these podcasts. Sup, brah? I'm white Irish. uh, yeah. So, Chris, if you haven't looked into the British Israelites, you might want to. You'll find them very interesting. That's actually where a lot of this clown Hebrew Israelite stuff comes from. Um, the British Israelite stuff. So, there's a lot of white supremacists, the Christian identity movement. There's still a British Israelite movement, and I mean, there's a lot of white supremacy that's also used by the clown Hebrew Israelites. We actually read the Wikipedia article on the British Israelites well, it was only yesterday. Oh my god, it feels like it's been this has been going on for weeks. On yesterday's stream, I want to go home and have a nice meal and read. Maybe I'll be bad on my diet and get myself some pizza. I'm down to 206 pounds. Aren't you proud of me, Chris? Oh, by the way, Chris, if you want to come on, I can. Why didn't I just send you an invite? I should have sent you an invite. I'm sorry, Chris. Here is your invite. Come join us online. Okay, you just chill. I haven't been watching anybody's channel, including yours. I haven't even been watching PVK the last little while because it's all been this past week has been crazy. Just trying to learn why blacks and Jews don't seem to like each other. I highly, highly, highly recommend. Sorry, there's a thing going by. I highly recommend Black Rednecks and White Liberals on the audiobook is available on YouTube for free because Dr. Soul does not. Here, I found the link. Dr. Soul does not enforce his copyright on his on audiobooks. So a lot of his books are available on YouTube for free. And Dr. Soul, yes, Thomas Sowell is definitely the man. He explains some of it, and part of it really is, in fact, like this whole CRT stuff. There were the Crown Heights riots in the 90s, which, what's his name? So Al Sharpton has the distinction of being the only man I know of in U.S. history to lead a deadly, fatal pogrom against Jews in the United States. I don't believe that I am not aware of any other actual pogrom against Jews in the United States. And that's why MSNBC decided to give him his own show. Because that's just how they roll. Anyway, so yeah, Black and Jewish relations have variously been not great, but yeah. So Anthony's right. I would say part of it is the NOI anti-Semitism, which they inherited from Islam in general, and combined with other Jewish conspiracies swirling around in the 20th century. And honestly, like the critical theorists there's been a lot of anti-Semitism. So the critical theorists think that Jews, being privileged, are white adjacent or even super white, because the only reason that we have done so well as a model minority. So they think model minorities are in fact white supremacists. And that's why they approve of anti-Asian, East Asian, and anti-Jewish racism. And so the CRT types, including the ADL and supposedly Jewish organizations, the ACLU, certainly over the past 20 years have in fact been helping to stoke anti-Semitism. And I realize a lot of people would think that's crazy, but yeah, it is crazy. But these Jewish organizations are run by a bunch of CRT possessed ideologues who think that we need to get to their ideal anti-racist society, and in order to do that, the Jews must suffer, and in order, because they have this zero-sum game going, right? So this is the ultimate like grounding axiom of CRT, right? That the world is a zero-sum game. And if you bring some people down, then automatically other people will come up. So they think that if anti-Semitism goes up, then other racism will come down, which is stupidity. You all have a lot in common, both historically abreast, both identified with culture more than anyone else, both conspiracy-minded, both encouraged dating within their race. So um, I oppose the idea of Jews. So there has been certainly racism within Judaism and within Jews against other Jews, and I think that's completely wrong. Judaism does um, have certain things that may appear to be like racial dating, but I actually don't think that's correct. That's not how it works. So actually, what has worked somewhat well in Israel is the a lot of Ashkenazim and Sephardim have been marrying each other, and so that has in fact led to a lot less racism within Judaism. CRT is leveraging Black history to smuggle Marxism. I don't think the creators of CRT are Black. Oh, there are definitely a lot of Black um, leaders of CRT, including Kimberly Crenshaw and Ibram Kendi, and so there's definitely they definitely do exist. Yes. No, honestly, there's Kimberly Crenshaw is not the face of anyone else. Kimberly Crenshaw is definitely a leader of CRT thought. Sure, if she was Jewish. I think he's confusing CRT with critical theory. Well, I mean, they are related. Um, I mean, the originators of critical theory were certainly not. A lot of them were Jewish in the beginning. Um, Not all of them, but pretty much all of them. A lot of them. But currently, you have to understand these people really do believe in their religion, and so they believe that um, they do believe in centering, Black voices and all that stuff. So a lot of them, I mean, not all of them are like Robin DiAngelo, who is a complete and obvious hypocrite. A lot of them are, in fact, stepping aside and centering Black people and stuff like that. And so that's part of why Kimberly Crenshaw is thing. The whole thing with the clown Hebrew Israelites is it's all incoherent clowning. So if she was a flat earther or clown Hebrew Israelite or any other type of crazy, I would not date crazy. Do not date crazy. It's a bad idea to date crazy. Um, okay, Chris, I'm not even going to put that up. And I will repeat, do not date crazy for any reason. Oh, and like and subscribe, people. There's 7 people watching. Why would 7 people watch me doing this? Find something better to do, people. Although I'm guessing some of the people are actually watching the earlier parts, maybe. What's going on in the news? What's on? Uh, you will have a difficult time dating a woman in LA because the leftovers are 99% crazy. Yeah, you are very correct. There's 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 a lot of there's a lot of crazy out there, and it's getting worse. Um, yeah, well, I mean, I'm not the sanest person in the world myself, so I'm not one to talk. But I've been pretty sane for the past 10 years or so. Pretty sane, not completely. Sane is not a binary. Uh, Jordan Peterson. I recently stopped accessing Twitter for 3 weeks as an experiment. I had some of my staff post video links, etc. It was a genuine relief. I started to read and write more. I started using it again a few days ago, and I would say that my life got worse again almost instantly. Uh, uh, oh yeah, the clown Hebrew Israelites. Yeah, I encountered some. It wasn't Vaughn's. Well, maybe it is. I went to the CVS down in Sherman Oaks, and there were clown Hebrew Israelites there a while back. It's almost been a year ago. That was like a year ago. Um, Religion is the attempt to find sanity. No, I disagree with that. I think sanity is actually um, being plugged into the distributed cognition of other people. I think we need other people in order to be sane. So I guess insofar as religion is religio, as Vervaeke defines it, um, yes, but I think we need to talk more about distributed cognition. Okay, you people only have me for another 10 minutes, and then I am leaving. Jeff Bezos is getting into a fight with the White House, which is beautiful. My God. Thank you, Karen's old man. Wow. The cover of the latest swimsuit issue. While I would agree that not a big fan of the hyper thin models, um, mm, mm, not sure that's gonna sell so well. Um, I really need to read Crime and Punishment again. It's been a long time. McHenry Cruiser on YouTube is a driver. He's a winner. Things are going to change for him. I can feel it. I have no idea who you're talking about. No idea. Wow, a bad legal take. Yeah. I'm just looking at Twitter. Dr. Peterson throwing shade. Might hit 5 million YouTube subscribers this week. Now it's time to apply for a Canadian content federal government media subsidy. What do you think, Justin Trudeau? I have 4 times the subscribers of CBC and wouldn't need 1/10 of the cost. How about a cool 100 million? I love Dr. Peterson. Wow, the quartering has hit a million subscribers. I was on his channel years and years ago. Talking about Magic the Gathering. Not going to talk about that. Where were we? Talk to Pierre Polivar. I did not, but people apparently are talking about it. Is that new? Okay. I mean, pharmacy. I just go. I actually use Costco myself. Oh, ooh, it's gonna be too late to go to Costco. I should have gone to Costco today. I could have gone to Costco today. I'll go to Costco tomorrow. I'm hungry. I'm not gonna be able to get to Costco in time to get a pizza. If I leave at 8, if I leave here at 8, yeah, there's no way I'm gonna get there. By 8:30. Shoot, somebody go pick me up a pizza at Costco. Costco is only crowded during the weekends. 7-Eleven, ew. Well, actually, no. I got pizzas from 7-Eleven lots of times, but there's actually a neighborhood there's a small pizza place near my house that's not so bad. I haven't had a pizza in a very long time. I've been on a diet, and I need pizza. I need actual pizza. Tommy's Burgers. See you, Chris. Be well. Tommy's Burgers. Is there a Tommy's Burgers around me? It's not kosher. Oh, I went to Van Nuys High School, so Tommy's Burgers. Let me see where the closest Tommy's is around here. I think it might be North Hollywood. It's pretty far. Oh, there's actually a Tommy's on Roscoe. Whew. There is a Tommy's on Roscoe. And that could be really bad. Of course, there's also Fat Burger. Yeah, I have to get on the 405 anyway. I think I'm gonna order a pizza at the place near my house, and then when I get there, it will be ready. Where is it? There it is. There it is. Okay, people, I am out. Hope you enjoyed it. I will be live streaming again on Wednesday. No, actually tomorrow. See you then.